I'd like to share some of what I learned in the Coursera course, The Science of Wellbeing, taught by Laurie Santos from Yale University. But first, let's take a pop quiz like Dan Gilbert gives in his TED Talk, The Surprising Science of Happiness. A study was done of paraplegics and lottery winners comparing their happiness levels. Who do you think was happier? It's pretty obvious, right? It turns out their happiness levels were about the same, which is great news for the paraplegics. But what about the lottery winners? Why did their happiness, why was it so fleeting? The leveling out of emotion over time is called hedonic adaptation. Hedonic adaptation says that no matter how good or bad something makes us feel, over time we return to our original emotional state. When we first buy a new car, it's so exciting. It smells great, it's clean, it's zippy, but after a year or two, it's just our car. When we get married, for the first 2 years, it's like a constant honeymoon. But then being married just becomes our new state of being, and we return to our original happiness levels. The good news is that we can control hedonic adaptation by making conscious choices. In her book, Sonia Lubomirsky says, our intentional, effortful activities have a powerful effect on how happy we are, over and above the effects of our set points and the circumstances in which we find ourselves. I'm going to share 5 strategies that we can use to increase our happiness. Strategy 1, invest in experiences over material things. Experiences by their nature are fleeting, so there isn't time for hedonic adaptation to kick in. When you're in the midst of an experience, you might think of those people who would really enjoy it as well, which increases your enjoyment of the experience itself. And then later, when you go and tell people about it, you relive the pleasure. But what if you already own that cool toy? You've been married for 5 years. You got your promotion a couple of years ago. Here are some strategies that can temporarily increase your happiness of those things that you already have. Strategy 2, savoring. Imagine eating an ice cream cone while reading the newspaper. Now, imagine eating that same ice cream cone, savoring every detail of it. The smell of the ice cream, how cold it is on your tongue, the nuances of all the flavors. Can you experience the difference? Strategy 3, create negative visualizations. The movie It's a Wonderful Life is a wonderful example of this. George Bailey is really upset with his life. He never got a chance to travel, his best friend is far more financially successful than he is, and his uncle just lost a huge deposit, and his business, his savings and loan business, is about to go under. George is throwing himself off a bridge, about to kill himself, when an angel comes down and shows George what the world would be like if George was never born. His brother would have died because George wasn't there to save him. The townspeople would have lost their homes because the only source of money in town was a miserly old businessman. And his wife became a lonely spinster, never marrying. George came to appreciate everything he does have in life so much more. Imagine what your life would be like if you never met your significant other, if you never bought that cool new toy, never got that promotion. Strategy 4, imagine this is your last day. Imagine this is the last day that you're going to get a chance to spend with something. Imagine you're challenging teenagers or annoying parents are about to move across country and you won't see them very often. Or what if you got injured to the point where carrying groceries hurt your back, let alone exercise? This can help you to appreciate what you have even more. Strategy 5, gratitude. Every night, record in a journal those things that you're really grateful for. Or do a gratitude visit, as described in Martin Seligman's TED Talk, The New Era of Positive Psychology. Think of someone who had an enormous impact on your life, but who you never properly thanked. Write that person a 300-word letter and go and visit them and read them the letter. This has been shown to increase the happiness levels for both the letter writer and the letter receiver for a month. Hedonic adaptation is a coping mechanism for dealing with the challenging things in life by leveling out emotions so you don't feel bad for so long. Unfortunately, it also levels out the pleasures in life. But there are things that you can consciously do to keep the good times rolling. Invest in experiences instead of material things. Actively savor. Create negative visualizations like in the movie It's a Wonderful Life. Imagine this is your last day with something. And actively recall those things that you're grateful for. After all, we just have this one life to live. Why not squeeze every moment of enjoyment out of it that we can?